The most frightening truth is not always that someone is watching your home. Sometimes it is that the person circling your life has already stepped through your gate before, smiled at your table, touched your harvest, and learned where your family is soft. That morning, one small detail in a photo made Alex and Tuna stop thinking in accidents, and once they saw the pattern, they could not unsee it. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a peaceful and beautiful day. Today, we'll follow Alex and Tuna as one small detail in a photo turns a series of strange accidents into a pattern they can no longer ignore. Then, copied gift box. Then, photo near shed. Tuna sat across from him, twisting a towel in her hands. Seeing the events on one page made her feel both frightened and relieved. Frightened because the trouble looked more connected now. Relieved because, for the first time, it no longer felt like fog. Alex pointed to the page. "When life becomes confusing," he said, "we should not only ask what happened, we should ask what repeats." That was the first practical lesson the morning gave them. A single problem can be noise, but repeated names, repeated places, repeated timing, and repeated benefits can become a signal. Tuna leaned closer. The land papers had involved an old broker who kept pushing them to hurry. The shipment problem had involved a former middleman who knew their early roots, who asked too many questions. Outside, a bird landed on the fence and shook water from its wings. Tuna looked at Henry. He was still playing with the spoon, but his eyes were fixed on them now. She smiled at him, the kind of smile a mother uses when she does not want fear to enter the room. "Eat first, Henry," she said softly. "Your porridge is ready." But when she carried the bowl to him, her hands felt colder than the morning air. After breakfast, Alex took an old notebook from the shelf. It was the notebook he usually used to write down small farm expenses: fertilizer, bamboo poles, rope, fuel, bags, labels. That day, it became something different. On the first page, he drew a long line. At the left side, he wrote, "Land papers." A little farther along, he wrote, "Shipment delay." The morning began quietly, but not peacefully. A thin mist still hung over the garden behind the wooden house. The porch boards were damp from the night air, and the kettle in the kitchen made a soft clicking sound before the water boiled. Tuna stood beside the stove, stirring a small pot of porridge for Henry, but her hand moved slower than usual. She had not slept well. For several days, strange things had come one after another. First, the land papers that should have been simple became tangled. Then the pomelo shipment was delayed because someone had changed a small detail on the delivery note. After that, a copied gift box appeared in the market, almost identical to the one Alex and Tuna had worked so carefully to design. None of it looked big enough to shout about. He came with the middleman once. For a few seconds, the whole house seemed to hold its breath. The kettle clicked again in the kitchen. Henry stood near Tuna's skirt, looking from one adult to the other. Alex's voice stayed calm. "Lon, please send me a photo of the invoice." A moment later, the message arrived. Alex opened it. There it was. The name. The same man linked to the motorcycle. The same man who had once touched one of their early pomelo contracts. Tuna covered her mouth, not from surprise exactly, but from the feeling of pieces falling into place too neatly. Alex set the phone down on the table. He looked at the notebook, the land papers, the shipment, the copied gift box, the motorcycle, the old invoice. For days they had been standing inside scattered smoke. "You two look less lost today," he said while drinking tea. Tuna smiled faintly. "Maybe because the trouble has a shape now." The old man nodded. "When a snake is hidden in the grass, every leaf frightens you. When you see where it moved, you know where to step." Alex looked at him with quiet respect. Village wisdom often came without decoration, but it stayed. Still, there was one piece missing. They knew the motorcycle owner was connected to the old land broker. They knew the former middleman appeared near the shipment and early contracts. They knew the copied packaging had not appeared by chance, but they did not yet know whether these lines met in one hand. That evening, as Tu Na washed vegetables in the basin near the kitchen, Henry came running from the porch. "Or Papa's phone is ringing," he said. Alex picked it up. It was Lan. Lan had been one of their early buyers, a woman who did not speak much but remembered details. She had bought pomelos from them before the gift boxes became popular, back when Alex still tied the fruit with simple string, and Tu Na wrote thank you notes by hand. Alex answered. Lan's voice was low. "Brother Alex, I found something old. I wasn't sure if it mattered." Alex looked at Tu Na. "What is it?" "An invoice," Lan said, "from one of your early pomelo contracts. The man you asked about, his name is here." Alex did not move. Tu Na slowly dried her hands on the towel. Lan continued, "He was not the main buyer, but he handled the connection. I remember now." Now they could see where the smoke was coming from. Alex took a pen and drew the final line between the names. He did it slowly, not with anger, with certainty. Tu Na whispered, "So he knew us from the beginning." Alex looked toward the yard, where the gate stood under the dim porch light. "Yes," he said. "And now we know that too." The house did not become fearless that night, but it became clearer. And sometimes clarity is the first door back to peace. A driver did not need to know the buyer's full payment history. A printer did not need to know how many boxes were stored at the house. A casual contact did not need to know when Alex would be away. A worker could be respected without being given every detail. This was not suspicion. It was structure. Tu Na understood the difference. Suspicion makes a home smaller. Structure makes a home safer. By the third day, their house felt different. Not relaxed, but steadier. The gate was checked each evening. Deliveries were confirmed by 2 people, not 1. Photos of boxes were stored before leaving the house. Important calls were summarized in writing. Henry knew to stay near the porch when visitors came. Nothing expensive had changed. But many small things had become stronger. Batang noticed. Copied box seen after packaging sample was shown to outside buyers. Beside the list, he wrote one small word. Check, not attack. Check. Tu Na watched him and felt something settle in her chest. Alex's protection was rarely loud. It was in the way he locked the gate before sunset. The way he turned a basket upside down so rain would not spoil it. The way he tested a rope before Henry played near it. The way he slowed down when everyone else wanted him to panic. That morning, his calm became a kind of fence around the family. But Henry did not understand fences made of silence. He came near the table, holding his spoon. "Why do you stop talking when I come close?" he asked. The question was small, but it hurt more than the photo. Tu Na turned to him quickly. "But sometimes the most important work in a family is quiet enough that no one outside would notice." Alex was looking for repeated names. Not only the big names, small names too. A witness, a driver, a printer, a market contact, a person who introduced another person. Because in real life, trouble often travels through small doors. Tu Na found the first connection. A printing shop receipt from months ago had a phone number written at the bottom. That same number had appeared in a message from the buyer, who later claimed he had seen a similar gift box elsewhere. Alex marked it. Then he found an old delivery note connected to the former middleman. The middleman had helped them in the early days, when Alex and Tu Na were still learning how to send pomelos to town without losing money. At that time, he had seemed useful. He knew drivers, he knew market stalls, he knew how to talk fast, but he also knew too much. He knew their harvest timing, he knew their packaging cost, he knew which buyer paid late, he knew when Alex was away from the house. Tu Na felt a chill move through her, not because knowing those things was wrong by itself, but because the wrong person could turn ordinary knowledge into pressure. That was another lesson Alex wrote in the notebook. Access is a kind of trust. When you let someone into your work, you are not only giving them a task, you may be giving them roots, names, habits, weaknesses, and timing. So from that day, Alex made a simple rule for the farm. People would know what they needed to know, not everything. Ask Mama first. What do we do if Papa is in the garden? I stand on the porch and shout. Tu Na laughed softly and kissed his hair. There it was again, fear turned into practice, not panic. Practice. Meanwhile, Alex began tracing the business side. He pulled out old folders from a wooden cabinet. There were early pomelo contracts, handwritten receipts, delivery slips, sample label orders, and notes from their first buyers. Some pages smelled faintly of dust and dried fruit. Tu Na brought him tea and sat beside him. Together they looked through the old papers. This part was slow. It did not feel dramatic. It was just two people turning pages in a wooden house while the afternoon light faded. We say he should stay where we can see him. We say when someone comes to the gate, he calls us first. Tu Na nodded slowly. A safety plan for a child should not sound like fear. It should sound like rhythm. Call Mama. Stay near the porch. Do not open the gate. Tell Papa if someone asks questions. These were not heavy rules. They were family habits. Alex wrote them on a small paper and placed it near the door, not like a warning, but like a morning reminder. The next day, Tu Na turned the rules into a small game with Henry. What do we do if someone calls from the gate? She asked. Henry raised his hand. Call Mama. What do we do if someone gives candy? Henry frowned seriously. The old connection no longer feels harmless, but Alex knew another common mistake, seeing a pattern and then suspecting everyone. That can destroy a home from the inside, so he made another rule for the family. We watch behavior, he told Tu Na. Not rumors, not fear, behavior. That night after Henry fell asleep, Alex and Tu Na sat on the porch. The porch light made a small circle around them. Beyond it, the yard was dark, and the garden smelled of damp soil. Tu Na's voice was tired. I don't like whispering when Henry comes close. Alex looked at the sleeping shape inside the house. Me neither. He asked if the work was bad. Alex was quiet for a moment. Tomorrow, we tell him simple things, not scary things. We say adults are checking the farm carefully. He only asked whether anyone unfamiliar had been asking about their pomelo boxes, delivery routes, or storage schedule. The worker hesitated. Then he said, Brother Alex, 2 weeks ago, someone asked when the next batch would leave. I thought he was only curious. Alex closed his eyes briefly. Who? The worker gave a name. It was not the motorcycle owner, but it was someone who knew him. Alex thanked the worker and ended the call calmly. Tu Na was standing near the doorway, holding Henry's small shirt from the drying line. Another line? She asked. Alex nodded. Another line? He added it to the notebook. This was the hard part about patterns. Once you start seeing them, the world can feel colder for a while. The familiar road looks different. The friendly question sounds different. He checked the lock without wiping the surface. He looked at where someone could stand and see inside the shed. This became another practical step. When something feels wrong, do not rush to clean the scene. Many families make that mistake. They feel upset, So they move everything quickly. They erase marks. They throw away packaging. They delete messages. They answer suspicious calls without recording details. Alex did the opposite. He preserved what might matter. He photographed the gate from 3 angles. He wrote down the time. He asked the worker to send the original photo, not a forwarded copy. He saved the messages about the delivery delay. He put 1 copied gift box into a dry bag and kept it on the top shelf. Small tip: when trouble repeats, make a simple evidence folder. Not because you want to live in fear, because memory becomes weak when stress becomes strong. By late afternoon, Tuna had made tea for Ba Tang. Henry sat beside the old man, showing him the labels he had sorted. Ba Tang laughed softly and told him, "You are already working for the family." Henry smiled with pride. For a moment, the yard felt normal again, but Tuna noticed something different in herself. The fear was still there, but it was no longer running everywhere. It had a place to sit now. It had a notebook. It had names. It had dates. Sometimes the first step toward safety is not a lock. Sometimes it is clarity. That evening, Alex called one of their trusted workers. He did not say too much, but enough of them did. Tuna looked at the page and whispered, "So this is what it is." Alex looked at her. "What?" She swallowed. "Soft sabotage." Alex did not answer immediately. Outside, the sun began to touch the yard. Light moved slowly across the bamboo baskets stacked near the porch. A basin of washed vegetables sat beside the door, water still dripping from the leaves. Tuna spoke again, more clearly. "It does not break one thing completely. It makes many things harder. One delay here, one mistake there, one copied box, one strange visit. Then people begin to doubt us. Buyers become unsure. Workers become nervous. We become tired." Alex nodded. That was the second lesson. Some harm does not arrive like a storm. It arrives like small leaks. A little confusion. "Do not put all of this inside yourself," he said. Tuna looked down. "I kept thinking maybe I missed something." "We may have missed signs," Alex said. "That is different from being weak." That line stayed with her. Missing a sign does not mean a family failed. It means the family must build a better way to notice. After lunch, Alex walked to the storage shed and checked the yard again. He did not go alone. He asked Ba Tang to sit on the porch with Tuna and Henry, not because he expected danger in daylight, but because presence matters. A quiet neighbor on a porch can change the feeling of a house. Alex checked the gate latch, the tire marks near the path, the corner where the photo had been taken. He did not disturb anything too much. He took pictures before moving objects. A little embarrassment, a little fear, a little mistrust, and if a family does not notice the pattern, they spend all their strength mopping the floor without looking for the hole in the roof. Tuna remembered the day the shipment had gone wrong. She had blamed herself for not checking the delivery note one more time. Alex had told her not to carry it alone, but she still did. Then, when the copied gift box appeared, she wondered if their idea had been too simple, too easy to steal. When the land papers became messy, she wondered if they had been careless. That was the hidden damage. Soft sabotage does not only touch your work, it touches your confidence. Alex saw her face change. He reached across the table and gently took the towel from her hands. Sometimes it means giving him a safe place inside the truth, so he does not feel pushed outside the family's heart. While Henry sorted labels, Alex and Tuna continued. They made 3 columns in the notebook. What happened? Who was nearby? Who gained something? This became their method. It was not complicated. It did not need a computer. It only needed patience, memory, and honesty. Under land papers, they wrote the old broker's name. Under shipment delay, they wrote the transport contact and the former middleman. Under copied gift box, they wrote the market stall, the buyer who had asked for samples, and the printing shop that had once printed a small test batch. Under the photo, they wrote the motorcycle owner. Then Alex drew small lines between the names. Not all lines connected. "We are talking about work, my son." Henry looked at Alex. "Bad work?" Alex gently pulled him closer and brushed a crumb from his shirt. "Not bad," Alex said. "Just work we need to do carefully." Henry thought about that. Then he asked, "Can I help carefully?" Tuna's eyes softened. She wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. Alex gave Henry a small job. He took 3 empty Pomelo labels from the shelf and placed them in front of him. "You can help us count these," Alex said. "Put the same ones together." Henry nodded seriously. It was such a simple thing, but it brought air back into the room, and it reminded Tuna of something important. Protecting a child does not always mean telling him every danger, but all of it was heavy enough to carry. Henry sat near the kitchen doorway in his little sandals, pushing a wooden spoon along the floor like a tiny boat. He looked up whenever the adults became quiet. Children do not always understand danger, but they can feel silence changing shape. Alex stood near the table, looking at the photo again. It was the same photo the worker had sent the day before, taken near the storage shed. In the corner of the frame, half hidden by the gate post, there was a motorcycle. At first, Alex had only noticed that someone had been there, but that morning, their elderly neighbor, Ba Tong, came to return a basket. His eyes were not as sharp as before, but his memory for village things was still clear. He leaned closer to the photo, frowned, and then touched the corner of the screen with one rough finger. "That motorcycle," he said slowly. "I have seen it before." Tuna stopped stirring. Alex did not speak. Batang looked from the photo to Alex, then lowered his voice. "It belongs to a man who used to follow the old land broker. The same group that came around when people were selling garden plots years ago." The porridge began to bubble over. Tuna quickly turned back to the stove, but her heart had already moved somewhere else. She wiped the side of the pot with a cloth and tried to breathe normally. Alex's face did not change much. He did not slam the table. He did not raise his voice, but Tuna saw his jaw tighten just once. And with Alex, that was enough. Because when a calm man becomes quieter, it means something inside him has started moving. For a long time, they had treated each incident like a separate inconvenience, a wrong stamp, a late truck, a copied box, a person near the shed, a conversation that felt strange. But now, standing in the soft steam of the kitchen, with Henry listening from the doorway, Alex began to understand that random trouble sometimes is not random at all. Sometimes chaos has a path underneath it. He placed the phone face down on the table and said gently, "Tuna, after breakfast, we write everything down." She looked at him. "Everything?" Alex nodded. Dates, names, who called, who touched the papers, who saw the boxes. The copied gift box had appeared in a market where one of those same people still had contacts. Now the motorcycle in the photo belonged to a man linked to both sides. Not proof yet, but not nothing. Alex wrote the names carefully. He did not write accusations. He wrote facts. That mattered. One common mistake Alex knew was to let fear turn into a story too quickly. When people feel threatened, they sometimes jump ahead of the evidence. They confront the wrong person, spread the wrong name, or make themselves look unstable before the truth is strong enough to stand. So Alex wrote only what they knew. Photo taken near shed, motorcycle identified by Batang, Motorcycle linked to man who worked with old land broker. Former middleman connected to early Pomelo contracts. By the end of that week, Alex and Tu Na had not solved everything, but they were no longer reacting blindly. The home became calmer because the family had a system. The work became safer because the details were written down. Henry became more protected because safety turned into simple, daily habits. And Tu Na no longer carried every mistake as if it belonged only to her. The deeper truth was this: when trouble keeps returning in small pieces, do not only fight the pieces, look for the pattern. Because a family does not become strong by never being touched by harm. A family becomes strong when love learns how to notice, how to prepare, and how to stand quietly together at the gate before fear enters the house. And under the small porch light, with the notebook still open on the table, Alex and Tu Na finally understood one thing. Peace is not always found by closing your eyes. Sometimes peace begins when you are brave enough to look carefully.